Flesh and Blood. How do I play? Today, we're exploring the basics of how to play Flesh and Blood. Are you a beginner? Or have you played other similar games like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon? Let me know in the comments. In this video, you'll be learning about the basics of Flesh and Blood, definitions of terms and phrases, and the anatomy of a card, the basic card types, and the basics of the structure of play. Stick around to the end to find out what I recommend for beginner products to get you into the game. Now, let's get into it. Flesh and Blood has three basic card types: your hero, your inventory, and your action. We'll start with the hero. There can only be one hero in your deck at any given time. This is the card that you build your deck around. You start with the class, which is located in the middle on the bottom of your card. You'll also notice to the left is your intellect, and to your right is the life total. There are both old and young hero cards. Let's start with the hero cards. You can only have one hero card in your deck at any time. This is the card that you build your deck around. We'll start with the breakdown. On the bottom left of the card, you'll see your intellect. This intellect count gives you your starting hand size. Intellect can go up and down depending on the effects of cards. In the middle, on the bottom, right next to the intellect, is your hero's class and age. In the lower right, you'll notice the hero's life total. Like intellect, this is your basic starting life total, and it can be increased depending on the effects of cards. The second type of card is the inventory card. Inventory cards are divided into three segments. You have equipment cards, weapon cards, and item cards. Weapon cards can be class-specific or generic, and come in one-handed or two-handed weapons. Equipment cards, likewise, are also class-specific or generic, and cover your head, torso, arms, and legs. Item cards are typically tokens or other cards that change the way play goes on your turn. For example, silver costs 3 pitch value. You destroy the silver and draw a card, and you can go again. The last category of cards is action. Within the action card category, you have 4 different types of action. There are action attacks, action attack reactions, action defense reactions, and instants. Action cards have 4 parts plus a detailed description of their effect. Let's go over how to read action cards. Action cards have 5 main areas to pay attention to. In the top right, you'll find the cost. The cost is identified as a number within a red swirl. This number corresponds to the amount of resources that you have to gain through pitched cards. The pitch value is located in the top left corner of the card. This pitch value can be identified by 1, 2, or 3 red pips. There is also a colored bar across the top of the card. Red bars are for single pip, yellow bars are for 2 pip, and blue bars are for 3 pips for pitch value. The next area of interest is on the bottom left corner of the card, and this is the power value. The power value determines the amount of attack damage that can be done if this card is used and not blocked. The next area of interest is in the bottom right of the card. Not all action cards have a power or defense value. If your card has a defense value, this value can be used to defend your character, your hero, during the defense stage. The last area of interest on these action cards is the effect description. This description is located in the bottom middle of your card. Much like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon, this effect box describes in detail what the card does. Now, let's go over turn structure. In each turn, the player may only play one action, unless that action includes in its effect, go again. In order to play a card, you must first pitch one or more cards whose pitch value is equal to or greater than the cost of the action card you are trying to play. Once you have completed your turn, you will draw cards from your deck to bring your hand total up to your intellect. It is advisable to use all the cards in your hand during your turn. If the action you played was an attack, this begins the combat chain. Combat chain refers to both the series of events and the location on the playing board where you place your cards. Any cards played or used during the combat chain are placed in the middle of the board in the order that they were played. The middle of the board is the line that separates the play area for each player. This is also known as the combat chain. When both players are finished playing their actions and reactions, combat is resolved. Combat has 5 steps. The first step is attack. When you play an action attack card, move it to the command chain area of the play area. Remember, the power of your attack card on the bottom left corner is the amount of damage you can do if that card is undefended. The second step of combat is defense. When playing a defending card, move it to the chain. Any card in play or in your hand can be used to defend. The defense value of any card used or played is the amount of damage that is taken off of the power of the attacking cards. The third step in combat is the reaction step. The attacker can play attack reactions, while the defender can play defense reactions. The third step in combat is the damage calculation. The damage calculation is subtracting the total defense value of the defender's cards from the total power value of the attacker's cards. The difference of this damage is dealt to the hero and subtracted from the life total. The fifth step is the chain link resolution. In chain link resolution, all cards leave the chain area. Weapons or equipment return to play. Any other cards are moved to the graveyard. At the end of combat, the attacking player draws cards to their hand to bring their hand total up to their intellect. Once this is done, turn passes to the next player. The next player starts their turn, minus any cards used during the defense step of combat last turn. One final point, the arsenal rule. At the end of your turn, if you have any cards left over in your hand, you may place one face down in the arsenal spot to save it for a later turn. Cards in your arsenal can be played as if from your hand, but they cannot be used to pitch or defend because they are not in your hand. I hope I was able to answer all of your burning questions about Flesh and Blood. If you got value from this video, it would mean a lot to me if you would hit like, hit subscribe, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you get a notification whenever a new video goes live. If you got value from this video, it would really mean a lot to me if you could hit the like button, smash subscribe, and remember to hit the little bell so you get notifications whenever a new video goes live. I'll drop some links below to some Flesh and Blood products that'll help you get into the game and get playing. Remember, stay cozy.